by the power of Grayskull.
This is just a quick review for SNOWRUNNER on the PS4. It's only just came out on the 28th of April, and I was a huge fan of MudRunners. I played the first time I downloaded it. I didn't quite get the game, and I played it as much as I wanted to, and then I went back to it a couple of months after that, and I played it in a brand new light. I really enjoyed it a lot more, and I think a lot of people are going to find that with this. They'll buy it because they've heard all the hype, they've seen a few YouTubes, they'll go out, they'll buy it, they'll come back and they'll think it's shit. All you're doing is taking things from point A to point B. It's basically a game of fetch quests. I mean, that's all you're doing really, but there's a lot more to it than that. I mean, if you're a fan of off-roading, you'll probably like this anyway. I'm not going to go into all the details of the customization and all the level and the maps and all that shit, because there's any amounts of videos on YouTube for you to look if you want to know that stuff. This is just my first impressions of the game. I have played, like I said, I didn't play Spin Tires, the first one, but I did play MudRunners, and I was really excited to play this one. They've greatly improved it. Like I say, if you've played MudRunners before, they've changed a lot of things and they've kept things the same. The quick winch with triangle, that's the same, but it's more intuitive now, which is better. You can just point the camera and it'll click onto the nearest object that's near you, or you can manually attach the winch, which is obviously essential from when you're getting stuck. Like I said, you've got loads of customization, but I mean, people bang on about the customizations. You've got the front and back bumpers, you've got the wheels, the suspension, you can change the toe, the winch. You can get sun visors, beacons, horns, lights, like cosmetic stuff that doesn't really affect the way it performs. It's only the engine and the tyres that make it perform, and maybe the winch if you want to count that as well. The autonomous winch where it just runs off its own battery, it doesn't need the car battery, because if you stall your car, tip it over or stall it, your winch will not work, so you'll have to recover it or actually come out and rescue your car. That's what I like to do. I think it's cheating if you recover it. I mean, the only time I've recovered it is if I've completed my objective, my truck's on the other side of the map and it's empty. There's no point in having it there, wasting the fuel driving back. I'll just recover it in the garage for its next mission. But the paint jobs are quite simple and the add-ons are quite simple, but it's nice that they've got them in there. And apparently there's a load of add-ons coming later on, so it'll be interesting to see some of the customizations. This is the map. It's a bit complicated at first because there's a shitload going on, but if you just familiarize yourself with L2 and R2 and L1 and R1 and flick through the different categories, you've got your contracts, which is how you earn your money and your RP. You've got tasks, which is like basically their side missions, and then you have what are called contests, which are basically just like challenges. So there's absolutely shit loads to do. I think there's 4 different regions. There's Michigan, there's Atlanta. Is it Atlanta? No, it's not Atlanta. What is it? Alaska, sorry. It's Alaska and Canada, it's Michigan, and then it's Russia, Tamir, and then there's another place as well. I can't remember what it is now. But there's a shitload of, there's like 4 maps per region. So you got 4 regions, 4 maps. So there's like 16 individual maps. And the range in size, I mean, the first map you come to is huge. The first Alaskan map you come to is quite small. You can mark out your waypoints again like you did on the old game. I know a lot of people complained about the red line on MudRunners. It would stay permanently on the map So when I'm driving like this, instead of just a blue icon telling us where to go, you'd have a big thick red line showing you where to go. It would get in the way, and you know, most people didn't like it. I didn't use it at all when I first started playing the game, but when I came to revisit the game again, I used it all the time, because you find you'll miss the turning or you'll drive the wrong way, and when you've got a big trailer on the back, it's just a pain in the arse trying to reverse and maneuver the trailer. You know, it's just a fuck on. So when you're like getting into the game and you want to just get your objectives done and you're cracking on with the missions, then you'll use the waypoint system a lot more. I use it on this, like I've set a waypoint way in the distance there, and I'm just heading towards it, making my own way. Because the way you're meant to play the game is you have scouts and heavy vehicles and off-road vehicles and heavy duty vehicles for big loads. What you should do is just jump in your scout. You get a little Chevy C10, or I think it's a C12. You jump in that and just basically use that. That's the only thing you need to use. Don't think about, oh, I need to get these bricks up here, I need to start delivering the wood and doing all this shit. Just forget about all that and just get in your scout and just go for a mission. Just unlock everything on the map. You see waypoints, 5 waypoints, get all 5 done. You see contracts, collect the contracts as you're going around. You have to go and collect the contract to accept it, but that doesn't mean that you're actually, you know, going to start the level. You have to activate it again if you want to actually start it, but it won't be able to complete unless you actually physically go to where it's being advertised, and then you have to accept the contract, and then you can just fill it out at your own leisure. But like I say, they've kept it basically the same. They've kept it really similar to the way it's always played. Like I said, if you stall it like that, they've now added an autonomous winch, so you can actually just pull yourself, even if your engine stalls, which is thingy. But it's like $9.5 grand, and I didn't want to spend it. I was saving up for something else at the time. But the way the physics have worked on this, because if you played Mud Runners, whether it was grass, water, mud, it was all the same consistency, like the same viscosity. You know, like if you think of paint has a very like high viscosity, and water is a very low viscosity. You know, it's how thick it is. So if you think, now they've changed it so there's different viscosities for the different surfaces. Water, mud, there's deep mud, there's shallow mud, there's gravel, you know, there's snow obviously, there's ice. So there's all types of different terrain. And for instance, if you park your truck on, or you drive into some soft mud with the truck, you can physically see the truck sinking into the mud, whereas that wasn't a thing on Mud Runner. It still had the same kind of you know, like physics for the mud and everything was still the same, but this has just got a lot more detail. It's a lot brighter, there's a lot better colours. The maps are huge. There's any amounts of things to do. I mean, even if you wanted to do a inverted commas speed run on this, I mean, I know you can't exactly, it's not about speed, but if you wanted to just fly through it, I would say you've got at least 50 hours, 50 to 75 hours worth of gameplay, and that's if you're just cracking on and not fucking about. If you want to just explore and take your time like I do and just, you know, enjoy the game, it's not a rush, it's not a race. You don't have to rush and you think, oh, somebody on YouTube's up to level 15 already, I need to quickly upgrade my character. Just fucking let them rush it for the YouTube views or whatever they're trying to do for subscribers. Just let them worry about the walkthroughs. You just play at your own pace and just take the scout and just go around looking for everything. If you find a vehicle like this, make sure that you collect it, because you can sell them and make money, because you can always buy back. And what's good about this is whatever you buy, you sell back at the same price, I think. So you pay $1,000 for something, when you come to sell it, you'll get the full 1,000 back. So you can buy and sell trucks without worrying that you'll never be able to afford it again. Like you say, I took this back to the garage and I sold this truck for say 20 grand or whatever it is, and then if I need one of these trucks later on, then I can just simply buy another one back. I don't need to hang on to trucks and trailers. There's trailers scattered all around the maps. Some have got loads on like this, where it's preloaded and you just pick up the trailer and it'll help you. But also you can pick up the trailer and take it back to your garage and just sell it. Go around the map collecting all the vehicles and all the trailers that you don't want, and just go and sell them, and you'll get like a nice bit of chunk of change, and it might help you actually go ahead and buy a vehicle which you otherwise wouldn't have been able to afford, because I think the cheapest vehicle is 31,000, but it's not available in America. It's only for the Russian levels. But the next truck after that's 60 or 70,000, so you really need to save up. But like I said, there's so much to do on this. You'll never be able to just, like, if you get that anxiety of like, oh, there's so much to do, it's like it's overwhelming and I can't be bothered, there's just too much to do. It's not like that. It's, if, like I said, if you just get your scout and just go for a little mission around the map and just unlock as much as you can, just so you can get to see the lay of the land, and then once you've done that, recover back to your garage and then start planning out your vehicles to, you know, to what trips you're going to do. You have to mark your route as well, because another thing they've done in this game is where the routes are not always free. So you might have like a bridge that isn't built yet, or you might have like a rock slide blocking the path, something like that. So you have to make sure that the path is actually clear before you set off, because there's nothing worse than having a big long lorry full of like stuff to deliver and you're so close but then the road's blocked, so you got to turn around and go right round the long way. That's another little tip. Most likely the easiest way is always the long way. If you see a shortcut, it's because it's muddy as fuck. And unless you've got the right kind of truck with the right tyres and the right power, I just wouldn't bother trying to tackle any kind of obstacles. Always take the easy way. It might be longer, but like I said, it's not a race. You don't have to worry about taking time. You're not getting timed on any of the missions. Only on some of the challenges, you've got like 6 or 9 minutes to go and deliver this thing. But like I said, that's challenges. For the main objectives and stuff, you're not up any time. If you don't like delivering stuff in the dark, you can always fast forward time now, whereas you couldn't before. You would have to, like, you know, recover your truck, and it would cost you fuel and everything. Whereas this, you can just literally press triangle and it skips it in increments of 3 hours, I think, or 6 hours. So if it's midnight, you can press triangle once and it'll skip to 6 in the morning, and it's nice and sunny, and you've got the full daytime again. You don't get penalised for changing the time of day, which is good. Like I said, they've took a lot of things from the old game and then they've just embellished on it. The graphics are better, the sound's better, the maps are huge. There's a lot more vehicles. It's just better all around. They've thought about it more, and there's more content to the game. So I wouldn't worry about that, like thinking, am I getting my money's worth? There's so much here for you to play. But as the game goes, it's like definitely one of my favourite games at the moment. That's just simply because I'm a big fan of Mud Runners, and I've been waiting for this for a while, and then it finally came out. I did get the season pass, but I'm just going to wait, because I've looked on YouTube and a lot of people have seen that the Khan that you get early access with the season pass, it's very overpowered. It's got huge wheels on it, it's got a good engine in it, so you just skip over the top of the mud. You don't actually have to struggle, you know, like for all the earlier levels, all the earlier tasks. You seem to you can pull trailers with your scout vehicle on that. It's that overpowered, it's huge. It's like the power to weight ratio and everything's just ridiculous. But it's why people hate these pay to win kind of games. If I pay an extra £10, I get all the best vehicles, all the best whatever before everybody. It's just bullshit. It's a way for the companies to charge you those little extra. You can go into the store and you can buy the Khan for, I think it's £3.29, so it's only a few quid. You can buy the skins for like 79 pence each, but the actual season pass will just get you access to all the new maps, all the mods, everything that they drop, because there's 4 phases. They've introduced 4 phases of stuff, so they're going to drip feed it, you know, like Star Wars Battlefront, how, you know, or like Mortal Kombat fucking 11, or was it Mortal Kombat 10, or was it number 11, when they had you know, like drip feed all the characters, and Spawn was the last person to come out. It's that kind of thing. They've got 4 phases. They're going to be dropping new missions and new maps, and like I said, the mods is what I'm looking forward to, because if you watch MudRunner mods on the PC, they've got like monster trucks, and they've got like Subarus and Mitsubishi Evos and shit, and like they can just add any vehicle you want basically, and there's like big limousines with like monster truck tires on and shit like that. So I can just imagine what the mods will be like for this. They won't be as good, obviously, but they'll still be good enough to have a little fuck about and play with, like monster trucks or anything like that will be good. But like I said, they've kept a lot of it the same. They've made a lot of it different, but the difference is like just a way to improve it, I think. Now all these maps are a lot more detailed. They've got a lot more, like they've got weather, it rains and shit like that. There's the water effect is amazing. It's a lot better than the first game, the second game technically, MudRunners. Like I said, the sound, the graphics, they've just improved it tenfold. There was a few things I didn't like about it. When you first start up, it's on a different configuration for the buttons. So like if you're used to the original buttons on MudRunner, circles your handbrake, and R1 is your horn, and your directions are to like open up your menu and shit like that, and X and square to activate your differential lock and your all-wheel drive. Triangle's your winch. But when you first start, it's like R1 is your handbrake, and you know, circle's your horn, and fucking you've got to hold L1 to hold your clutch in while you're changing gear and all that shit. I don't know why they would want to change the buttons. Why would you want to change the button scheme? You already had an amazing button scheme, and then you've changed it. But luckily, if you go into the configuration, like in the options, you can put on a config B, which is the old buttons. So don't worry about that. You can just go back to using the old buttons if you can't get used to the new scheme. I've spoke to a few people on YouTube, like in the comments, and they're asking people, is it different? And a lot of people have said that they're used to the buttons and they quite prefer them now. So I think it's just personal preference. To me, I like the old buttons. You know, I'm used to that, because I've really just only stopped playing MudRunner the other day, so the buttons are fresh in my head. So I can't be asked to change, like to retrain me brain into pressing the different buttons for the different like stuff. So that's always good. Another thing they've changed is obviously when you're towing something, that you can like basically you can take the load off and you can put the load on manually. You can manually load it like you could on the other one. Like on MudRunner there was a log kiosk and you could physically load the logs that way, but this gives you a choice. You can either auto load or you can manually load. I've never tried manually loading anything yet because I don't have a crane attachment on any of my trucks yet. Because like I said, that's jumping ahead of the trend. You're trying to do too many things too soon. Like this first truck, the GMC that you get given, this one here, it's shit. It's got permanent all-wheel drive. You can't change the differential lock. It's only got tarmac tires on, so it's no good for going off-road really. But when I was playing this footage, I didn't realise I had another truck on the map that I had discovered, which is an off-road truck, which I didn't realise, and it's got low gears, it's got differential lock and everything. So this is a piece of shit. I've subsequently went and sold this. I think I got 18 grand for it. But the trucks are 10 a penny. You can just buy them whenever you need one. So like I said before, don't worry. And it's the same as trailer. You might go to the trailer garage and you might put a fuel like trailer on the back, or you might put a flatbed on the back, and then you might think, oh fuck, I didn't want that. You can like sell it back to the people for exactly the same amount that you bought it for, which is really good. On the old MudRunners, you would literally just get all your attachments and everything for free. Whereas this one, you get your fuel for free, but you've got to buy your attachments and you've got to buy like your trailers and stuff. But you get all the stuff inside, your wood, your concrete, your blocks, your metal, whatever it is you're transporting. That's all free, so you don't have to pay for that. But they do have certain things, like you say, I'm stuck in the mud here. They've said if you keep spinning in the mud, eventually you'll go right through all the sloppy mud until you hit the hard surface underneath, and then you will get traction. But this game is all about throttle control. It's all about finding the grip, finding the traction. So a little, like a little tip is to snake your steering wheel just left and right, full lock left, full lock right, full lock left, full lock right, and just keep snaking through the mud, and you do find a bit of grip that way. But also it's all about throttle control. I don't know if it's the same on this game, but on Mud Runners, when you put it into first gear, you actually had like a little throttle gauge where you could just put like 10% throttle on, or like 100% throttle in first gear. So it's like essentially your crawling gear. So you can put like 10% throttle in first, and it is literally just ticking over crawling. But you don't like slip, and it gives you loads of grip, and you can climb up really steep surfaces and all that shit. And I don't know if you can do that on this. I haven't came across it yet, but I'm on early doors. I only got it yesterday or the day before, so I don't think I'm up to the levels where I can actually get a changeable gearbox. Maybe if you buy the gearboxes later, because I know there's a few different versions of gearboxes you can get. So I don't really know about that yet, but that's one thing that's missing, like, so far. I mean, like I said, I don't really know, but my first impressions is that you can't do that. So the gearbox is slightly different, which I miss because I did like the control over the throttle. But if you can just go really gentle on the R2 button, maybe 20 or 30% of it accelerator, the wheels are just turning and they're not spinning. Because if you're just holding R2 and you're spinning like fuck, you're just going to get stuck all the time. And you have to, like, it's all about throttle control and finding the grip, finding the traction under the mud. You can basically see where not to go. Anything dark is deep. That's just a basic rule. Any graphics that are darker, if there's mud and some of it's dark, some of it's light, stay away from the dark bits, or you'll get stuck, unless your truck is capable, and then you can just start driving wherever you want. But in like real life, if you see a big puddle, drive around it. If you see lots of mud, drive around it. You don't have to just plow straight in and then just hold R2 while you're just spinning away, and it takes like 10 minutes to get 10 meters of distance. It's tactical. It's not all about just holding down the R2 button. But anyone who's played Mud Runners will already know that. Anyone who's a fan of off-roading and like stuff like that is already going to have the idea of how to drive through like thick mud. So, but I wouldn't call it a simulator. But the mud is very good. Like the game engine on the mud, I forgot what it's called. It dynamic mud or something. I forgot what they called it. But they've now implemented snow as well. So obviously you've got shitloads of different terrain. Like I said, the maps are huge. There's loads to do. You'll never actually get it all done anytime soon. And if you're just starting playing the game, then my advice is to use your scout, go around the map, unlock absolutely everything except all the contracts. Just go around exploring, doing all your waypoints, finding all the vehicles, then come back to your garage, get into your big truck, and then you can start thinking, right, well, I know that road's blocked because I've already been there in my scout, so I won't go that way, and I'll deliver these bricks to X, Y, and Z. And it's just planning. It helps you. If you just set off in your big truck, you know what I mean, you're going to find yourself doing a lot of backtracking. You're going to have to keep turning around with a loaded trailer, and then you spill the load, and then you've got to go back or use your crane, and it's just, you don't have to make it so complicated. But I mean, I normally do quick videos. I mean, this video is nearly half an hour long, but it's only because this game is like amazing. I think it's I know a lot of people have done more in-depth videos on this, but if you do like the look of it, and you like off-roading, and you like the like the sound of what's available to play and stuff, what I've just said, then I would definitely give it a try. If not, just get Mud Runners first, because I think Mud Runners is only like, I think it's a tenner or 20 quid. I think it's not very expensive, and Mud Runners is like a big game, so there's lots for you to do on Mud Runners, and it's better than paying full price for this. Or just wait a couple of weeks, and then there's people who go out and buy the game, they'll realise it's too hard, and then they'll trade it in. So I'm sure that there'll be some copies, like part exchange copies, in like your local shop soon. So I wouldn't be bothered that much. I think it's $44.99 on the store, and it's 60 quid, like $59.99 for the season pass. I would get the season pass if I was you. If you can afford it, get the season pass, because like I said, there's shitloads more content to come, and you don't want to miss out, basically. But just get the standard edition, and then just pay 20 quid later when you can afford it to get the season pass, if that's better for you. But like I said, it's a great improvement on the first game. Hopefully it'll just only keep getting better. It takes a while to get used to all the options and all the menus, and like actually to figure out how the game works and what you're supposed to do and navigate around the menus and all that shit. But that's what I like in a game. I don't want a game to hold me hand and say, right, here's where you are on the map, this is where you've got to head to, and here's a big luminous line so you can't get lost. You know, it's like, it makes games too easy. I like a bit of challenge. I like it where you've got to figure it out for yourself, or when you're even getting stuck and you've got to consultate fucking like YouTube or something, and you know, try and find out how to get past the bit you're stuck on. So it's definitely challenging. Like I said, it's a game of fetch quests, but if you don't mind that and you're not in any hurry, then it's great for like the lockdown. If you can just sit. I mean, I've only just come off the game now, and I've been on it since I think it was about 11 o'clock, like this morning, and it's about 9 o'clock at night, or 10 o'clock, half 10 now. So I've literally done like a 10-hour, 12-hour like stint on this, and it's flew by. I've literally only got like 2 things done, because I've been exploring and I've been just taking my time. Like I said, there's no rush. But if you like the look of it and you like the off-roading and stuff, then it's a definite buy. You have to get this game. You won't regret it. So that's it, really. So see you later.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.